Nick Peltier with Brown County Land Conservation.
Brent Petersen with Brown County Land Conservation as well.
We're looking at some interseeding. It's July 23rd. This was interseeded on June 15th when the corn was about a foot tall. You can see here today, looks like, well, this is just past pollinating here. All this corn is tasseled. Looking at a couple of lessons learned here. So a little history on this field. This was sprayed with just straight Roundup about a week before it was interseeded, and was interseeded with a mix of cowpeas, hairy vetch, berseem clover, red clover, and annual ryegrass. The annual ryegrass, the cowpeas, the hairy vetch, they're all here. They look pretty well, but one major lesson learned here is Roundup is not a good enough herbicide program. We've got tons of weed pressure in here, and kind of as we move through the field here, there's lots of grasses, you know, fall panicum, crabgrass, those sorts of things. We've even got some troublesome broadleaves as well, some water hemp, ragweed, things like that. So I think thinking about this, I really think that we need to get something down pre-emerge with some residual control on some of these, something like a dual or outlooks, that sort of thing. We really need to get down pre-emerge to kind of get ahead of some of these weeds. Roundup alone is not enough, especially if you've got any kind of history of some troublesome weeds, water hemp, giant rag, those types of things on your farm. So
yeah, this the herbicide programs, if we're going to do this, where we're going to plant this interseeding here later on, it's almost necessary. You really got to focus on the herbicides that you're going to use early on in this process if we're going to interseed this later on. So as Nick had said, this harness, even at half rates here early, just to get control of a lot of this stuff, is going to do wonders here later on. And it's really going to help your interseeding plots and knock down some of those tough weeds, especially like the water hemp and ragweeds and that kind of thing. So it's absolutely a necessity to try and get something down early.
I really like a point that Brent made earlier when we were walking through here is, if you've got troublesome weeds, you know, hit those hard with the herbicide program and maybe kind of sell out one way with your cover crop, maybe towards the grasses. So for instance, if you've got a field that has giant ragweed or water hemp or something like that, hit it with like a Diflex, a Status, maybe Callisto, something like that, that's going to be real tough on the broadleaves, take care of the broadleaves, and then come in and interseed with annual ryegrass. It's not the diversity that we're looking for with the cover crops, but nevertheless, it's still a cover crop. It's still roots in the ground. We're building organic matter. We're chipping away at those goals that we're looking for with the cover crops, and we're still keeping the weeds under control. So, this was seeded on June 15th. It was seeded with 10 pounds of red clover and 5 pounds of annual ryegrass. We're looking at about 6 weeks later here now. We've got pretty good establishment on both species. The difference between this field and the last field we were in, last field was just Roundup, was the only herbicide applied to that just before the field was interseeded. This was a quarter Roundup was applied to this field about a week before interseeding, but also in with the Roundup was 3/4 of a pint of Brawl and 10 ounces of Outlook. So both of those are sort of pre-emerge herbicides, those seedling shoot growth inhibitor type herbicides that kind of prevent growth and provide residuals. So you can kind of see the difference. Still a couple of weeds in here, but nevertheless a lot better than that other field we were in here.
Today we're in a field here near New Franken, Wisconsin. This particular field was no-till corn last year. We had a lot of difficulty with it, so we decided to do strip tillage in here. As you can see here, the strip tillage corn here is doing very well this year. Yeah, so what we've got here is we've got red clover, perennial rye, and white clover here down here a little bit further. The herbicide program in here was Harness Extra, and you know, usually they run that mid-rate on there, and then they come back here post-apply with a product called Diflex. So it's very similar to Status herbicide. And that basically goes after the broadleaves. And then what as part of their program, then they come in here and they apply 32% that's cultivated in. So after they made that cultivation in here, I just come in here with a hand spreader and I broadcast the red clover, the perennial rye, and the white Dutch clover in here. And as you can see here, we've got a pretty nice stand established. I thought that the herbicide was probably going to wipe it out, but you know, looking at it here now, wish we would have did most of the farm like this. So it's off to a nice start here. We'll see how it progresses here, but I don't see any issues with it from here on out. We got great weed control in here, and you know, if we could do more of this here within the watershed, I think we'd be doing pretty well.